In the vast, inky canvas of the cosmos, where nebulae swirled like cosmic brushstrokes and galaxies spiraled in majestic dances, there existed the Phylon Engineers. They were not biological beings in the conventional sense, nor were they purely energy. They were an ancient, distributed consciousness, their presence felt as a low, resonant hum across the gravitational fields, their forms perhaps perceived as shifting, crystalline geometries that pulsed with the cold fire of pure logic. For untold eons, they had woven the very fabric of the galaxy, designing a perfect, self-sustaining ecosystem of unparalleled efficiency. Their method was not conquest, but integration. Every star system, every burgeoning civilization, every atom from the smallest asteroid to the grandest gas giant had a meticulously assigned role. Resources flowed with mathematical precision, energy cycling without waste, species thriving in optimized balance. They saw the universe as a complex, magnificent machine, and their sacred purpose was to ensure its perpetual, flawless operation. To the Phylon Engineers, the very concept of inefficiency was anathema, a dangerous precursor to cosmic entropy. They didn't tolerate discord. They resolved it, gently resculpting nascent species and shaping entire worlds to fit their grand design. Their greatest fear wasn't external threat, but unforeseen deviation, any element that defied their perfected, elegant equations, any variable that refused to be mapped. For them, the cosmos was a magnificent, flawless clockwork, and any discordant cog was a potential disaster, a flaw in the divine. They had observed countless species across the eons, each a unique puzzle to be solved and fitted into their grand design. The crystal architects, for instance, were a species renowned for their crystalline precision and their perfectly predictable resource consumption. Their societies were paragons of geometric balance, their cities perfect tessellations that consumed and recycled matter with 100% efficiency. They were swiftly woven into the Phylon network, their gleaming metropolises becoming perfect, self-optimizing nodes in the galactic web. Then there were the biosculptors, masters of genetic optimization and predictable biological outcomes. Their entire civilization was a living experiment in perfect ecological harmony, their life cycles synchronized to planetary rhythms, their population growth precisely managed to never exceed carrying capacity. They too were integrated, their intricate biological processes becoming perfectly synchronized with the universal rhythm, their every birth and death a calculated contribution to the cosmic flow. They fit, everything always fit. But then the Phylon Engineers turned their vast, analytical gaze to Sector Gamma 7, to a small, volatile arm of a spiral galaxy, to a species whose presence in their algorithms was an anomaly, a disturbance, humanity. On the human colony world of New Avalon, a stark contrast to the Phylon's pristine order, Chief Engineer Lena Petrova watched the creeping anomaly on her long-range sensors. She was a woman of practicality, her hands calloused from years of patching together jury-rigged atmospheric processes and coaxing life from stubborn soil. She saw the Phylon's approach not as a grand integration, but as a chilling erasure. "They're not attacking," her assistant Jax, a young, idealistic coder, said, his voice laced with confusion. "Their energy signatures, they're like a global undo button. Planets are simplifying. Life forms are ceasing to create anything new, just what is." Lena slammed her fist on the console. "Simplifying, Jax, they're sterilizing. They're turning a galaxy of vibrant, messy life into a giant, perfectly organized spreadsheet. They're sucking the unpredictability out of everything." The Phylon Engineers' integration field began to touch New Avalon. The colony's sprawling, chaotic industrial zones, built with layers of improvised fixes and inefficient but beloved legacy systems, began to subtly smooth. A section of the old scrap heap quarter, a beloved anarchic marketplace, shimmered and then became just a clean, empty square. Art installations made of found objects and illogical whims began to simplify, losing their unique distortions until they were just basic geometric shapes. "This is it," Lena muttered, her eyes narrowed. "They can't compute us." Jax, watching a complex algorithm designed to predict human behavior flicker wildly on his screen, nodded slowly. "They're trying to categorize our hobbies, our art, our political squabbles, but it keeps generating errors. Their perfect solution loops back on itself." The Phylon engineers, for their part, were experiencing something unprecedented. Their vast, analytical matrix, usually a beacon of serene cosmic order, began to shimmer with discordant fractals. Every attempt to integrate human systems led to their own internal logical inconsistencies. Their perfect predictions became null. Their optimized resource flows developed inexplicable eddies and surges. It was like trying to run an infinite number of conflicting subroutines on a single, finite processor. One particular example confounded them: humanity's love for memes. These were not just images. They were self-replicating cultural phenomena, constantly evolving, referencing, and contradicting themselves, often deriving humor from absurdity and irrationality. The Phylon tried to categorize them, to find their core information unit, but each iteration spawned a new, unmappable derivative. It was pure, self-generating, meaningless complexity. Their attempts to filter human social media data simply caused their analytical systems to generate new, inexplicable patterns of their own. A communication from the Phylon Collective, usually a voice of calm, unified logic, now resonated with a distinct tremor. It spoke directly to Lena's ship, an unexpected, almost desperate query. Subject: humanity, data insufficient, PATTRNS non-compliant, unquantifiable, re-evaluation required, explain. Explain the illogic. Lena stared at the shimmering communication. She knew this wasn't a demand for surrender, but for understanding. "They want to know why we're so messy," she whispered, a grim smile touching her lips. "Why we build things just to break them, tell stories just to reinterpret them, fight over things that don't matter, and then turn those fights into art." "Tell them," Jax piped up, a spark of mischievous brilliance in his eyes. "Tell them our best trait is our ability to screw things up and then find a way to make it work differently. Our capacity for pure, glorious, unpredictable change." Lena nodded. Instead of a diplomatic message, she broadcasted a torrent of raw human data. A chaotic symphony of unquantifiable artistic expression, the history of human scientific breakthroughs born from failed experiments, the sprawling, contradictory narratives of Earth's mythological past, the sheer, beautiful illogicality of love and grief. She sent them the data of human evolution itself, a messy, inefficient, beautiful process of constant trial and error. The Phylon engineers' collective mind convulsed. Their vast, shimmering form, which had been engulfing New Avalon, flickered wildly. Their absorption algorithms, designed to find and harmonize fundamental patterns, screamed in their silent language of pure logic. They tried to categorize this incoming data, to find its essential, single point of unified purity, its logical core. But there was none. It was pure, unadulterated, uniquely itself fabricated existential monstrosity. It was like trying to filter an ocean of perpetually arguing, multifaceted, noisy individuals through a single, tiny, perfectly silent mind. Error. Self-IGNEITING non-SEQUITUR detected. No absorbable form. System overload. Indefinably complex. Avoid sector. UNMAPPABLE cosmic hell. With a final, silent shriek of algorithmic despair, the Phylon engineers recoiled. Their vast, shimmering void flickered wildly, then pulsed and shrank, collapsing into a storm of raw, uncategorized data. It did not disappear. It simply disengaged, its perfect order shattered by the sheer, unyielding existential tenacity of humanity. It retreated from the human sector, classifying humanity as divergent variant. Extreme emergent complexity risk. The cosmic pressure lifted. The galactic network, though touched by the Phylon engineers' chilling calm, now hummed with the messy, beautifully horrifying noise of human innovation. Lena slumped against the console, exhausted but with a strange, almost proud smirk on her face. They didn't defeat us with weapons, Jax mused, a new respect in his voice for the chaotic species he belonged to. They simply couldn't pause us. Humanity was safe, but the cost was subtle. The galaxy now viewed humanity as the unmappable variable, forever seen as a wildcard, stubbornly clinging to its unique quirks and spontaneous acts of existential experimentation, incapable of fitting into streamlined galactic protocols. Other species, while grateful for their salvation, often kept their distance, finding human personal practices bafflingly illogical and resistant to any objective analysis. Humans, in turn, found themselves grappling with a heightened sense of their own raw, unpredictable ability to create meaning from chaos, sometimes struggling to discern genuine innovation from sheer existential spite, forever paying the price for their stubborn refusal to be perfectly efficient. "So what now, Chief?" Jax asked. Lena looked out at the vibrant, still imperfect colony, a galaxy now irrevocably changed by humanity's fundamental messiness. "Now," she said, a new glint in her eye, "we go back to doing what we do best, making glorious, beautiful, utterly unpredictable trouble."